Hi purple people, it's Jamaica. So I've been trying to make this same video for days now, and for some reason my phone keeps deleting it. Don't know why, but let's try again, shall we? So my last video was about my internet issues in my house and trying to get my final done. Well, just a quick update. Internet's fine now, thankfully. So thankful for that. So I turned in my paper at 5:30 that morning, or the next morning, but I stayed up all night, so I was up for like over 24 hours to turn the paper in. So to say the least, I was exhausted that day and for a couple days more. Got to class that night, because I have that class at like 4 p.m. Got to class that evening, and my professor was like, well, you know, you guys, I'll give you until next week to turn your paper in. I mean, it is what it is. By that point, I had a good base for the paper since I stayed up late that night. And she said, even though I turned my paper in, that doesn't mean I couldn't still work on it, make some improvements, and turn it in later. So what I did was that was on Thursday. I had a meeting with her Saturday morning, and it was really productive. Like, it was good for me to have that meeting with her. So I had that meeting with her, and I turned my paper, like, I worked on it a little bit on Monday, but not as much as I wanted to. I just had some other things I needed to catch up on, and it was still a very productive day. So I didn't feel like I wasted that day. And yesterday I worked on it and finished it and turned it in. And she emailed me this morning. She hasn't graded it yet, but just to let me know that she understands that's actually the final copy of my paper, and, you know, just letting me know she got it and she understands. Gosh, it's hot. So just to give you guys like an update, so now my semester is not only officially over, but I have everything turned in. So that's awesome that I'm finally done with the semester and I can put it behind me. And yeah, so that's done. So yay, so happy. I can't wait to actually like have a night to celebrate the semester, because this semester was just so hard on me. I've never had that many classes and been that busy during my whole master's program. It was just always something. I traveled the whole semester, and I had just had so many other personal responsibilities outside of my academics. So, and like for some reason my illness was just at a peak, and it might have been like the stress between my personal obligations and my school, I'm sure. And if you guys have been following me for a while, or you talk to me about epilepsy personally, like, you understand, or if you know, stress really it really cranks up my epilepsy like no other. I had gotten it pretty under control for a while, like a good while, and lately my seizures have been crazy. Seizures and migraines have really been insane the past few months. So it's been rough. Like, I've been waking up with just like things thrown all over my room when I wake up. It's crazy. But anywho, enough about that. School is over until January 8th. That's when the new semester starts back up. But the purpose of this video is to discuss an epilepsy thing I found on Pinterest. I look on I have an epilepsy board on Pinterest, and I pin a lot. I pin things that I want to talk about or address, and that's pretty much the purpose of this video. I found something on Pinterest, I pinned it. I didn't pin it because I agree with it. I pinned it simply to remind myself to address it. And funny enough, as you guys know, I have a hard time with memory. Very, very hard time with my memory. That's been one of the biggest side effects I've experienced, actually, between fatigue and memory. Like, those are my two biggest that I have the hardest time with, whether my seizures are controlled or not. That's just my biggest things that I fight with, or I battle with this illness. So I found this post on Pinterest, and I don't know how I feel about it. Of course, everyone's experiences are different, and I can only attest to me. I can't really comment on anyone else, but I just didn't know how I felt about the post, and it said something to the effect that those with epilepsy, it's 10 times harder for us to do the simplest of tasks. And I'm like, I get it. Like, some tasks are more difficult than others, but not everything. Like, I can't in good conscience sit here and say, oh yeah, everything I do is 10 times harder than what you have to do. Like, I can't say that personally. Maybe that person either has severe epilepsy, or their child might be dealing with it, and from a parent's perspective, that's how they feel. I can't really say what the person was thinking when they wrote that, or when they created that. I don't know. But the only thing I will comment and say on it, because I don't want to discount their experience of dealing with it, what I'll say is, and what I'll comment on is, just like with any other illness, there are different levels of severity. Okay? So my epilepsy isn't, how do I say, it's not like severe or anything. It's not like it cripples me, or it doesn't make me regress in my I don't know how to say it. Like, it doesn't make my physical or mental abilities regress. Like, I've seen a case, this little girl in Colorado. She was diagnosed when she was a child, but like, she had already started doing some things. Like, she had already started talking and walking, and then she was diagnosed with epilepsy, and her epilepsy was so severe that it actually made her regress. Like, she was no longer able to walk or talk and communicate and things like that. So like, her case was really severe. I don't have epilepsy anywhere near that. It's just hard to control. So mine is just hard to control. It's not super severe. So there are different severities of epilepsy, and I'm sure the more severe circumstances, it is like super hard to do normal things. I just can't say that is the case for me, and I'm thankful for that. And I don't know, maybe that person was considering more severe kinds. I just don't want it to be like a blanket statement and be like, oh my gosh, people with epilepsy, it's like 10 times harder to do the simplest of tasks. It's not really the case. But like I said, I also don't want to discount their experience, because I don't know what their experience is, and say, oh no, they can do everything just fine. Because I can say, like, it's harder for me to get out of bed and get going. Like, that does take a lot more energy out of me. Like, I suffer from like chronic fatigue, but a lot of people with chronic illnesses suffer with that. Like with autoimmune diseases, chronic diseases, you have this fatigue, and then you're on all these medications, which a lot of them cause drowsiness and whatnot, and muscle weakness. So it's like you have that combination of your illness and your medication, and they're both attacking you. So that's what I deal with. So I can say it's hard for me to get out of bed and get going, and be motivated to start a project or do anything, but I can't say like every task I do every day is more difficult. I can't honestly say that. I just can't. So yeah, I just wanted to address that because I don't know what that person's story is, and I don't want to say that it's not true. I just want to say that it's not the case. It's not a blanket statement. It's very individualized. Just like if I have a cold and I pass it to someone in my house, we're not going to have the same exact symptoms. It's going to be a little different. I know like chronic illness is different from a cold, but it's just to show the comparison of illnesses are different for different people. That's all. So I just wanted to come on and address that in case you guys see what I pin on Pinterest and was wondering about that. But I just wanted to address it because I felt like it was important, because it's such a blanket statement. It's such a broad statement. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're getting your Christmas shopping done and getting excited for that. And I will talk to you guys later. So don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave a comment below if you have any questions or want to add to what I said, and I will talk to you guys later. Love you. Bye.